Welcome to today's deep dive. Imagine you're on a flight and your Boeing 737 suddenly snaps into three pieces right on the runway.
Yeah, it's just completely terrifying to even think about.
Right. But on August 16th, 2010, nearly everyone on Air's Flight 8250 did exactly that. They lived through it.
What started as this, well, severely delayed flight from Bogota to San Andrés Island ended in a crash.
And tragically, there were two fatalities. But honestly, it's a miracle that almost everyone survived.
It really is. But our mission today isn't just about the survival aspect.
No, we're unpacking how a phenomenon known as the black hole illusion, combined with some outdated muscle memory, led an experienced crew right into a deadly trap.
The conditions that night were an absolute nightmare for flying.
Right, they were making an approach to a single runway over the ocean in the dead of night.
And battling a severe thunderstorm with incredibly heavy rain.
Okay, let's unpack this so you can really grasp the danger here. It's like driving on a pitch-black highway where the only thing you see is a distant street lamp. Your brain completely loses its sense of depth.
That's a great analogy. In aviation, that specific loss of depth perception is called the black hole illusion.
The black hole illusion, it sounds ominous.
Oh, it is. When you fly a night approach over a featureless, pitch-black surface like the ocean, the stark contrast of the bright runway lights against the darkness completely tricks the brain.
So they basically had no spatial anchor at all.
Exactly. The pilots of Flight 8250 looked out the window and genuinely believed they were safely high.
But they weren't.
No, in reality, flight data showed they were flying like 50 to 300 feet below the proper glide slope.
Wow.
Yeah, they were way below the invisible path they were supposed to follow down to the runway.
So visual disorientation is obviously super dangerous, but it becomes, well, catastrophic when you pair it with the wrong muscle memory.
Right, and that brings us to the captain. He was highly experienced. He had 7,600 flight hours.
Wait, hold on. Shouldn't 7,600 hours of flying make you safer in a storm?
You would think so, right. But experience is incredibly context-dependent. Most of his hours were primarily in turboprops, not the Boeing 737 jet he was flying that night.
Oh, I see. So it's a completely different kind of machine.
Exactly. I mean, turboprops are pretty forgiving. Their propellers act almost like giant air brakes when you pull the throttle back so you can aim steeply right for the start of the runway.
Right. But a 737 doesn't do that.
Not at all. A 737 jet is incredibly heavy and highly aerodynamic. If you point its nose down at the last second, it doesn't slow down. It just drops like a stone.
Ah. So he was aiming to land at the very start of the runway using a turboprop technique.
Yes, and applying that old habit to a new complex machine left absolutely zero margin for error in extreme weather.
Okay, but if visual cues and human habits both failed, why didn't the aircraft's technology prevent the crash?
Well, the technology definitely tried. The plane's ground proximity warning system was loudly announcing 500 and issuing alerts.
And didn't the first officer explicitly tell the captain to pull up?
He did. Yet no corrective action was taken before they hit the ground, like 49 meters short of the runway.
That is just wild. How do you ignore all of those blaring alarms?
It's a terrifying look at cognitive overload. It wasn't that the captain couldn't literally hear the alarms. His brain just couldn't process them.
Because of the storm and the visual illusion?
Exactly. Think about the sheer volume of sensory input. Severe turbulence, pouring rain, the stress of a delay, and the intense focus required to stare at those runway lights.
It essentially paralyzed his decision-making.
Yeah, the human brain gets so fixated on the primary visual task that it completely overrides the technological alarms shouting that you're in danger.
So following the investigation, the authorities completely overhauled their simulator training, right?
They did. They completely updated training for non-precision approaches and adverse weather to address exactly these kinds of illusions.
It really makes you think about how we function under pressure.
Definitely.
Like when you transition to a new role or face a storm in your own life, how often do you rely on outdated habits?
And could those old instincts be causing you to ignore the glaring warning alarms right in front of you?
It's something to really mull over next time you dismiss a pop-up warning or silence an alarm without thinking. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. See you next time.